Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jimmy, and in today's video, we will be taking a look at the Creality Otter Lite. Now this one is a wireless, handheld, high-precision 3D scanner. Now on the top up here, this one is the 3D scanner, and what I'm holding on to here is the bridge. So this is what powers the scanner itself, and then on the back is that magnetic clip that you can just place your smartphone on. So this way you can view everything that you are scanning. So with this scanner, you're able to really go freely anywhere you want to because everything is wireless. Now there is a Wi-Fi module built in to where you're just able to have this one wirelessly connect to your smartphone. So this way you can scan things from small to medium to large, like large automobile parts. You can do something as small as a screw, or if you just have an object that you have lying around at your home, then you're able to just have a 3D printed clone. Now, some of the other things that I scanned, which we'll take a closer look at later in this video, is I scanned Master Chief, and I put him at a slightly smaller scale than what I've scanned him, and we also did a drill. Now, there's a few things that I've learned with this 3D scanner over the last couple days that I have had it, and I'm excited to play with it more because there's additional things I want to scan, but that's probably going to be for a future video where I can show you more results from this 3D scanner. So a couple things that I like so far about the Creality Otter Lite is that I am a beginner. This is my first time ever using a 3D scanner, and it is super easy to use. The accuracy is very fine, so you're able to have an accuracy of up to 0.05 millimeter. And because this one is completely wireless, that is probably my favorite aspect of this, because everything I did for this video here, which is scanning and sending it to my computer and sending it through a slicer to get it 3D printed, everything was wireless. There are cables that you are able to connect to your PC or your computer, but I wanted to go with the full wireless experience, and this did not disappoint. And for transparency purposes, Creality did send off the Otter Lite for me to review and test off and show my audience. And it is a paid review, but it's not a paid review in the aspect of me going off of a script, but it is a paid review for it to be featured on this size of channel. Now, the first thing to do after you unbox your Creality Otter Lite is you first want to charge your bridge. Now, I'm doing everything wireless, everything handheld, I'm doing everything mobile as well, and then I will transfer these files to my computer. Now, once you get this thing charged up, I have the 4 lights. It's between 75% and 100%. I plugged it in right there with the Type-C. So this is the bridge. This portion right here is the scanner itself, and where the camera thread is, where you got it all connected, there is connectors that powers from the bridge to the scanner itself. Now, initially when you first turn it on, it is a solid blue light. What you're waiting for is for everything to turn on and for the Wi-Fi to start kicking on so you can connect to it. So this is where you can see the green light. Here's that blinking blue. This means that you can now connect your phone to the Creality Otter Lite, and then this you can probably hear just a little bit of fan noise coming through it. Now, I already put the magnetic clip on my phone, and I'm gonna have it off to begin with just so I can kind of show you, kind of how this all works, and then I will snap it into place. So now that you have this one turned on, and now that you have the blinking blue light, this is where, if you have already downloaded your Creality Scan application, which is a free application from the Play Store and the App Store, this is where you want to go inside of your internet settings, and this is where you want to connect to the bridge. It's right there. It's called Light Bridge, and then your number is going to be slightly different than mine. This is just indicating that this is my scanner right here, and again, you're connecting to the bridge. So now that you have connected to your bridge, this is where you then want to open up the application, and then you just wait for this to turn green. And this will also turn green right there as well once everything is fully connected. Now that we are connected, now let's go for our very first scan. So this is where we go to New Scan, and then this is where you'll have the options right here, and you're setting up the scanner itself. Because the object, are you scanning something small, medium, or large, or is the object a person? Meaning, are you scanning the face or the body? Now the face here is just setting up the settings for being closer to an object, and the body is something further. Very similar to over here as a object that is small, medium, or large. Now what you're doing when you're setting this up is you're indicating which sensors you are using. So these are the long range sensors, like the long depth sensors. This one is the short, so this is where you're very close to something. So this is the up close sensors. These are the projectors. that is the color camera, and this is your white LED. So this is why it's important to set up correctly of what you are scanning. Now, the features, does it have geometry? Does it have texture? Or are you using the markers, which is those little tiny black dots that you can place onto an object that might be a little too shiny or doesn't have good geometry. So you're able to pinpoint and put some markers out there. And then you also have high quality or color. Now it'll change, let's say that you do a body. So maybe you want to scan it fast or have it as high quality. Now before we really start scanning, because you can see here that there's a start button. So right now this is just a preview, but there's a couple things I want to show you on the screen before I have my other hand over here. That is this indicator over here, which is letting us know if we are too close, if we are optimized, so you want to be at a perfect distance away, or are we too far away. You have two cameras. One of these is going to be infrared, and then the other one is going to be the color camera. And you can see that right there, I might be a little bit too far away. And right now it's optimized. Now I'm a little bit too close. So now I'm going to pull it back, and you can see it goes back up to optimize. So you want to be in that green area. Now, the other things that is on the screen that you want to take a look at is this. So this right here is letting us know if we want to keep the base in or out. So it says exclude the base, or if you want to have exclude base enabled. So that means this one already has a pretty good base. It's flat on the bottom. It's big enough that it can sit on its own, and I don't need to have the base to be a part of the scan. That is all this is right there. So now that we took a look at a few things, now let's go over into start. And also another thing I noticed is that here is the little light. So if you want to turn on your LED lights, so again, I'm not in the best optimized lighting right now just because my main light source is coming from up over here. So in the front, it's going to be a little bit more shady and shadowy. So this is how you're able to turn on that light to get a better image. Again, you're able to take this thing anywhere and everywhere, even if it's not the best optimized lighting situation. So now this is where you go to start. It's going to do a countdown of 3, 2, 1. So now that we are at a optimized or pretty good distance away, there's a few more things that I can show you on the screen here, but I'm going to just turn this a little bit more. And what you want to see and view or get to is your object to be fully green. So you want the entire object to be green right over here. And that means that you will have a good scan. Now there's a few more things I want to show you before we go any further. This is where you can either turn on or off the LED light if you need a little bit more lighting for the situation. You'd also be able to go through and you can change the exposure mode. So you can either have it as auto or manual. So for the infrared exposure or laser brightness, you can change all of that. Also, you can change how you want this to be viewed on your screen. So it just kind of depends. Do you need it upside down? Do you need it right side up? Do you need it to be flipped? Also, this is where you can add in color or not have color. And then you also have this right here where you can redo the whole scan. So if you've messed up, you can actually start over just by hitting this button there. And then I'm going to do this one as color just to kind of see what will pop up. So now that we've got that out of the way, this is all magnetic. So I'm going to put it right there onto my scanner itself. And then I'm going to start scanning. Now another thing I want to show you is you see this light right there? That orange is indicating that I am a little bit too close. So as I move on back a little bit, it's just going based off of this scan right there. So you see that this right here, now we are just too far or too close. It is just the color coded of if we are too far, too close, or if we are perfect. So if you don't have your phone, right next to you, at least with the scanner itself, you are in the green, which means we are at the optimal distance away. Now here's the thing too. Right now, my bridge handle is on my desk. Now, if I can't get the right angle of this, all I'd have to do is flip this upside down. And then what you can do with the phone, if I take this off, now you're able to get better angles of what you are trying to scan. And then this is where it comes in handy if you want to flip this thing upside down. So now you can see exactly what it's looking like. If you feel that you are done, you hit on complete scan. Now, as stated from before, I plan to do all of this with just my phone itself. Everything is wireless. Everything is optimized for me to move around, be mobile, go anywhere and everywhere I want to scan anything. Have it all done on the phone. Have it optimized edited, and then I will send it over to the computer. The only portions I will do on the computer is just putting it into my slicer to get it 3D printed. Now with the optimizing complete, this is where you can make a few adjustments. Now for this, let's take a look. It doesn't look too bad. There is no bottom, but we'll actually add in the bottom here in just a second. But this is where you tap over here. This is where you can orientate it a little bit. There's a few things I want to delete, so you just hit on eraser, and this is where you can get rid of it. And I'm going to make it just a little bit larger. So anything that showed up in the scan that you don't want to be there, you are able to delete it. And again, this is where on the phone, everything on the phone, you're able to get this file ready to go. And so here is some of the quality. We're still not at the full end result just yet, so this is where I'm going to go to complete. Then for this one, I'm just going to rotate this one more time. You can double check all of the quality. I think it pulled in quite a bit of what we did, so we're just kind of doing some of the optimization right now. For this one, I am going to have a hole filling. Also, closure is on, and I want this to be as a STL. So you can have this as STL, OBJ, or PLY. I'm going to head over into next, and now it's going to mesh everything. So now we're able to take a look at this. It doesn't look too bad, but I will state this right there on the bottom. This is not looking 100% perfect. So all that I'm going to do is I will place this onto my slicer, and I'm going to bring his bottom down into my slicing bed just a bit, and it will create a natural, perfect, straight line cutoff. So now that we took a look at the meshing, it looks good. Let's head over into next. Now we're going to take a look at all of the color mapping. Now taking a look at the color mapping, I think it did a good job. All I'd have to do is spend just a little bit more time, probably get up a little bit closer, make sure I have the light, the white LEDs turned on so I can get a better detail of what we're seeing here on the very front. But it picked up the greens, the orange, the blacks, the lighter shades, the browns. So everything was picked up. And again, I think it looks pretty dang good. So this one is done. And now it takes us right back to the main home page. This is where you can tap on the model, and you can also rename it or delete it. So when you tap on the model, you're able to see exactly what you scanned. And again, it looks pretty good. So up over here, you have those three dots where you can delete it or rename it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this page here. And when I go to the share icon, I can either share it as a model, project, or video, or I can just export it to the computer. All right, so let's try to get this owl scan over onto the Creality Scan computer. So this way I can put it onto my slicer. So I'm going to head over into share, and I want to share this project to the computer. So I'm going to go to scan QR code, and right over here on the computer, import from mobile phone. There's my QR code. All right, there we go. Now we're just transferring it to the computer. So as it exports to your computer, you can see it's at 59%, and you can actually watch it on the monitor itself. And here it is on the Creality Scan program on the computer. Now on the top left-hand side, this is where you'll be able to put in a new scan. You can import a project, or you can import for a mobile phone, which we just did that. Also on the very top, you will have your home and process. So this is where it's just showing the print or the scan that we did. And on the right hand side, you have the option for a one-click process. You also have some optimizational settings. You have mesh settings. You also have export. And then this is where you can share. So what I might do is I might do the one-click process, and then I'm just going to export. So I tapped on export. I put it on STL. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Owl. And I put it over into my downloads, and I'll hit on save. So I opened up my slicer. All I did was I just added in this STL, and then I made sure that he was on his head. So this way I can tap on this portion to be the bottom. So I'm going to select this to be the one touching the plate. Now that he is sitting on our plate, looking really good. You can see right there in the bottom, that's just right where his little bottom is. But what I want to do, because the bottom isn't 100% smooth, I'm just going to bring him down just a little bit. So I'm going to bring him into the plate. And what that does is it will, naturally make them smooth on the bottom. So now that that is looking good for me, I'm just going to hit on slice plate. We will see some of the details. Looks as if this one will take 1 hour and 6 minutes to do the full entire print. The total time is 1 hour and 14 minutes. So I'll head up here, just gonna send it on over, and then we'll check out the final result. So I think it's pretty dang cool that I can just grab any item from home, and within the same day, just within the same hour or two, I'm able to not only take an item, but I'm able to 3D scan it from the comfort of my own home, and I'm able to get them 3D printed. So this one is the drill. So this one does have trees for support since there is an overhang. And then this is where Mr. Master Chief is being 3D printed. Now let's take a look at a few of the 3D scans that we have printed. So really, you're able to clone almost anything in your home, from small screws over to automobile parts to just objects within your home. And this one did a really good job. So this is that test object that is inside of the portable carrying case. So all I did was I scanned it, placed this on the slicer, put it over to the 3D printer, and I hit print. So this was the first one that we ever did. And again, coming from a beginner, just taking the 3D scanner and scanning it and just turning it on the turntable, this is the result, which I think looks really good. Now, the next scan that I did, it was Master Chief. So I wanted to see if I could do a little figurine. Now for this one, I did bring the scale down just a little bit. So this is about 70% of a scale. And that's just because of the time constraint that I had. I just wanted to see this thing come out. So I brought it down a little bit smaller. I could have kept it at its full scale. And that's the nice thing about this scanner, is that whatever you are scanning with the intelligence on the inside of that scanner, whatever you scan, it'll come at that size. So if I would have kept it at 100% scale, it would be this exact size. So I brought it down. So this was the end result of Master Chief. I think I just needed a little bit more lighting on his hand here, and then a little bit more time with his foot on the back. Other than that, everything came out great. Again, this is just the second scan. And then for the third object that I was able to scan and print was this drill. Now, there is one thing that is on the Creality Scan program that I should have done with this. And again, that's the purpose of this video, is for me to play around with it and test it and review it. There is a option to smooth this out. I did do the option where it says to fill any holes, and was able to find a few holes that it did fill in. But then if I would have done that option for smoothing it out, I think it would have came off just a little bit better in a few areas. So all three of these was printed at standard quality. So it was printed at the 0.20 millimeter. So I could have done a little bit higher quality or optimal quality at the 0.16. But again, I'm just out here testing this, playing around with it. There's a lot more objects in my home that I want to 3D scan, and I'll probably have to come back with another video just to show the results of 3D scans. So I do want to scan one of my cameras that I have. I want to scan a Xbox controller. I want to maybe scan a shoe or one of my Lego cars or something like that. But right here is the quality. So this is the 100% direct clone of the very first object. And then this one right here, the only thing I would change on my end is choosing the option on the program to smooth it out. And then maybe next time I'll print this at 100% scale. And then also too, the next thing I'd play with is just printing these at the 0.16 quality. So this way it'll have a slightly higher print quality. Now, anytime you open up the Creality Scan application, this is your homepage. It'll show you all of the scans that you've done. So there's the owl, there's Master Chief, there is the drill, and then this one right here, this was when I was doing my Jeep. So it did a good job at capturing my grill. It did a good job at the bumper. Also did a really good job on my tires. But I believe because my hood and everything else was so reflective, I wasn't really able to get a good scan on it. But then also at the same time, my Jeep's top was off, and then it started to rain. So I had to drive home and put this thing in the garage as soon as I could. But this is what I got within the little amount of time that I was able to scan the front portion of my Jeep. So I can see where this will really come in handy if you are trying to scan an automobile part. So in this way, maybe you can print it with carbon fiber. And now for the unboxing, you will find two things on the inside of this box. You will find a personal turntable, so this way you can place your object or item on top, spin it around, and also a portable carrying case. Inside this portable carrying case, we'll find a high precision calibration board. You'll also find two USB adapters, along with a microfiber cleaning wipe, along with two sizes of the reflective markers, and also a quick guide, certification, and warranty card. Under the flap, you will find everything else. So you will find the light bridge. This is your handle and gives the power for the 3D scanner. You also have the scanning test object, which this one is a owl. And this is the 3D scanner itself. Let's pull this off. You'll be able to find all of these sensors, the lights, the connectors on the bottom. And it does come with a USB 2.0 power cable and light bridge charging cable, along with a USB 3 data cable. It does come with a camera screw as well as a magnetic phone holder. Now this right here is the connection, and this is where you're able to use the camera thread, the camera screw, to attach the bridge to the 3D scanner. And now for some of these specifications. The scanning mode is NIR, which is the infrared binocular structured light. The scanning frame rate is up to 30 frames per second. The minimum scan volume is 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter, which again, you can go with some small screws. When it comes down to the working distance, you can go anywhere between 120 millimeters up to 1200 millimeters. It does have color mapping. For the alignment mode, you can go based off of geometry, texture, or marker. And then for the format of the file for you to output it into, you can put it into OBJ, STL, or PLY. Now there are 8 infrared LEDs. You have 2 white LEDs. The laser safety is a class 1, which means it is eye safe. The weight is 301 gram when it comes down to the scanner itself. The light bridge is 286 grams. And now for my final thoughts on the Creality Otter Lite. So with my short time experience with it, and as being a complete beginner who has never used a 3D scanner before, it was a very fun and easy experience, and I find myself scanning a bunch more things here at home. So because this one is tech, there is always room for improvement. But also as a user, there is also room for improvement, which is playing with the program a little bit more, using the smoothness option, maybe spending a little bit more time around the hand or something like that of Master Chief, or maybe adding in a little bit more light. So as a user, I will always grow and get a little bit better. And then also as a technology product itself, this one is easy to improve because there would only be updates. So you would have an update to the application on the phone or an update to the program on the computer to even make it better and even more intuitive, or maybe just a little bit more tools. So with all of that stated, if you are interested in getting into 3D scanning or 3D printing, this is a good area to start with. With the Creality Otter Lite, you're able to scan objects and send them to a slicer and get them printed, all within a short amount of time, and it's very easy to use. But hopefully you guys have appreciated this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Subscribe on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.